Seven Duties of Your Real Estate Agent. I had to giggle a little bit when this book listed seven duties of your real estate agent. Mm. I can tell you, and I'm 100% certain that any real estate agent would agree with this statement. When I first entered into this business, I had no clue what it was really about and just how many responsibilities an agent actually does have. So, hope that you see that this is the part where we earn our money. Let's go through these one at a time, and hopefully, you can get a little bit better of an understanding of what to expect from your agent. Number one, educate you about your market. We discussed this a little bit earlier on in one of the other videos, but learning about the market is essential when you are looking for a house. Now, when it comes to the decision to buy a house, what I said before was not to let the market influence you too much to the point that it would make you change your mind about something that means a lot to you personally. So once again, deciding to buy, we're going to sort of listen to our instinct. Yes, pay attention to the market, but much more a personal decision. When you have made the decision to buy and now you're in the market for a home, that's when the market becomes, the information about the market becomes super important because we're looking at neighborhoods, we're looking at pricing, we're looking at personal preferences. All of these things come into play when you're choosing the home that you actually want to consider to purchase. So, your realtor is responsible for letting you know all of those details. Your realtor should know everything about the neighborhood in which you're looking, or should be able to guide you toward a neighborhood that meets your own particular needs. She or he should be educated about school districts and flood zones and all of the things that come into making this extremely important decision. Not to mention all of the financial aspects. How many homes are in the market, on the market in that particular area? What are the interest rates doing? All of these things. Your realtor should be an expert in all of these areas, and if he or she isn't, should know the right people to speak to get that information. Analyze your wants and needs. So, just as important as the market in general is your particular desires. Your agent should be an expert on you. So, in the beginning, when you're first meeting up with a realtor, hopefully you have an interview process. You need to find out if that's the correct person to represent you. And that agent needs to find out if you are the correct person that he or she desires to work with. These are both important things. And more important than that is your agent understanding exactly what it is that you want in a home, in a neighborhood, and your price range, all of these factors. This should be a very in depth relationship. Real estate is all about relationships. And if you don't have a very good relationship with the person that's representing you, then that person will never be able to find you the right property and negotiate on your behalf properly, because there are a lot of other factors that go into this as well. It isn't about finding the exact right home only. It's also about how soon do you need to be in that house? How kind of desperate are you for a particular school district, a particular distance from your place of employment? If you're purchasing this home along with someone else, maybe a spouse, maybe a friend, how do those two personalities mesh? What differences are there in the things that you want versus the things that your co-buyer would like? All of these issues come into play in a major way when you're making this extremely important decision. So you should have an agent that is knowledgeable enough, good at communicating, and understands you as a person enough to help you to make this very important decision. The next thing that your agent will do for you is guide you to homes that fit your criteria. This is super important. Certainly, as we talked about before, you can look on Zillow, Realtor.com, drive through neighborhoods, but there will always be homes that your agent can find out about that you may not. Your agent has access to the MLS. Sometimes homes are listed in the MLS that agents choose not to list on other platforms. Oftentimes, your agent might be aware of a property that's coming up even before it gets listed on the MLS. So, in order to find that right property, someone needs to speak to the seller or, most often, a listing agent. This is once again where your representation comes into play. Could you call those people on your own? Absolutely. Will a listing agent show you a property without a buyer's representation? Of course. But as we said before, you need someone that's advocating for you. It's much better for your agent to reach out to the other agent than it is for you to go directly to that agent. There's an air of professionalism involved there. It speaks to your ability to understand the terms of the contract, to negotiate on your behalf. If you show up unrepresented, then the listing agent knows that they have a leg up on you, that they have knowledge that maybe you don't possess. You need that representation. Don't skip it. So, that being said, how does that agent get paid? We're going to do another entire video on that very situation because it's a little bit complicated. And if you've been paying attention to the news lately, there have been some new developments that have arose, and that's making the process a little bit different than before. Not entirely different, but we'll talk some more onto that in another video. The average buyer looks at 5 homes before finding one. Be patient. This is a long process. Try and understand that it's going to take some time to find that exact right property. Don't be hard on yourself. Try not to get impatient. Just relax, enjoy the process, allow your agent to guide you through in the most efficient way possible. If you have that relationship that we discussed earlier, he or she will know which homes right off the bat are not for you. And hopefully, you don't waste your time going to visit those kinds of properties. So enjoy the process. You're going to look back on this with fond memories, as stressful as it might seem in those moments. Your feedback is the most important tool. Don't be afraid to say, you can't stand this. You don't like that. This is not the area that you want. This is not a popularity contest. Your agent is not going to be upset with you. We rely on that feedback. We can't help you if we don't know exactly how you're feeling about each individual property. So be completely forthright. Make sure that you're communicating your wants, your desires, your needs to your agent fully so he or she can best help you. Buyer loyalty agreement. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the video on agent commissions, but suffice it to say that we will need to have an agreement in place to protect both you as a buyer and to protect your agent as the person that's going to represent you. We need to have everything spelled out completely so that both parties are aware of what the duties are, what the responsibilities are on both sides, and of course, what the compensation is going to look like. So all of those things should be covered in your buyer's loyalty agreement. Your expert agent will coordinate the work of all the other needed professionals. Buying a home is not a one person game. There are several people and several companies that need to be involved in the process, and someone needs to keep track of it. Think of your real estate agent as kind of the ringleader of the circus, because sometimes it feels like a circus. We have agents, we have sellers agents, so buyer's agent and seller's agent, lenders, appraisers, inspectors, sometimes contractors, a title team. These are all people that are working together to make sure that this process goes exactly according to plan to get you to the closing table and get you into the home that you desire. It's a lot of work and it needs to be coordinated. So your real estate agent is an expert at making sure that all of these individuals are coordinating together, working together to get all of the things done. She or he will handle the emails, the phone calls, the text messages, the scheduling. So much is involved in one individual transaction, and you won't have to keep track of any of it because your agent will take care of those things for you. And once again, this is where communication comes into play. You need someone that is a master communicator because things can get dropped very easily and that can cause a lot of problems. So please ensure that the person that you hire is someone who can really stay on top of things. Your real estate agent should be a master negotiator. It is his or her job to negotiate on your behalf. Remember that a home sale is not just about the price. There are many other areas that are negotiated along the way. Is that seller going to do any repairs to the home? When are you going to go to closing? Is the seller going to purchase a home warranty plan for you? How much of a deposit are you going to put down? There are so many decisions that need to be made, and your real estate agent should be an expert at negotiations. That's hugely important. Also, consider the fact that a brokerage matters. If you are represented by Uncle Sue and Aunt Sally's brokerage, you may want to dig into that a little bit before you hire that realtor. Big name brokerages are big names for a reason because they are reputable, because most of them have had years of tracking, years of sales under their belt to prove that they are reputable. That's an important thing to consider. When you are considering hiring an agent, don't just research that agent, research the brokerage. Big name brokerages are big names for a reason because they have years of trust built up, years of clientele that have been satisfied with their services. Not to say anything about smaller brokerages, those can be excellent too, but if you're being represented by Uncle Harry and Aunt Sue's brokerage, you might want to investigate that a little bit. Brokerages do matter. They offer a level of support that can be monumental. No agent knows everything, and a good broker standing behind that agent can be an invaluable tool in getting you to where you need to be in your transaction. So pay attention to the brokerage, not just the agent. One of the most crucial jobs that your agent has is to check and double check and triple check paperwork and deadlines. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of this role in the transaction. This entire deal is governed by a purchase agreement. This is a legal document. If your agent cannot explain that document to you line by line in great detail in a way that you understand it fully, run. I'll say it again, run. This is a major transaction and it carries legal consequences. So we need to understand this fully. You need to know what you are agreeing to because you're agreeing to it by law. And there can be major financial consequences to problems that arise from not understanding these contracts or from agreeing to terms that you don't fully understand. There are many documents involved in each transaction. It isn't just the purchase agreement. There are other documents, other forms that you're going to need to fill out. If an agent ever were to say to you, oh, you don't need to read that, just sign it, major, major red flag. You need to understand 100% every single thing that you put your signature to in that transaction. Deadlines. A missed deadline can kill a deal. Something as simple as what day do you sign the papers to begin your loan? If that's not submitted on the correct day, you could be completely out of contract and lose the house of your dreams because someone didn't notice that that deadline was there. So, once again, deadlines, paperwork, extremely important. Don't neglect that. Your agent should be a master problem solver because the problems, they will come. There's never been a real estate transaction that hasn't seen at least one or two of its problems that will arise. Just understand that going in. Please just go in with the attitude that things will go wrong. That's okay. Your agent should be able to handle it. Agents have lots of creative ways of solving problems, and that's the importance of working alongside someone that you trust, someone that is reputable, like we've said a million times so far, a great communicator on both sides, because these problems need to be solved with all parties involved. It isn't just yourself and your agent, there's another agent in the mix, a seller in the mix, lots of personalities, lots of conflicts that could come up. You need someone that knows how to solve problems, and you need the attitude that those problems don't have to kill the deal and don't have to kill the joy that you receive from this process. Lastly, I want you to choose the agent that's right for you. Is that me? Would I love to be your buyer's agent? I don't know. Haven't even met you. Possibly. It's important to find the right personality type that you mesh with. It's a personal relationship. You should find someone to work with that kind of has your communication style, that finds importance in the things that you find important. I'll throw it out there again. Great communication skills, lots of knowledge about the particular area. Listen to reviews, ask questions, sit with this person, speak to them, get a feel for it. You'll know who's right for you. Certainly, I'm not the best agent for every single person. I would like to work with as many people as possible, but I know right away when I meet a person whether it's going to be a good fit or not. And you should know that too. Don't just settle for anyone, even the really big name people. Those are not necessarily the best choice for you. Who do you feel comfortable speaking to? Who do you feel like you can trust? And who do you think knows what they're doing? This is a very serious decision. So take it seriously. Take your time and choose the right person that's best for you.